I'm Jay Kimiecik. Our guest today is Tom Petter. He's a faculty member at Miami University and director of the Partnership Office. Thanks for joining us today, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the history or the beginning of the Partnership Office, and then we'll move into what's the mission of the Partnership Office.
Sure. The Partnership Office was founded in 2001 as a response to a lot of interest in connecting with Talawanda, emerging out of the Miami community. And I had been working in the district for several years. My children are students in the schools, working with teachers, asking them questions about what they'd like to see happen with Miami, if we could improve the educational system, improve the way they went about their work, improve relationships across the community. Very welcoming and open door in Talawanda. And by 2001, we had enough energy to open our partnership. Originally, it was called the Talawanda-Miami Partnership, and we formed a task force to work on projects across both institutions. And by 2005, we had enough energy and enough momentum to create a new office with actual space where people could come and have meetings, where we could base our work. I traveled around the community really for those first 5 years, working with people in the schools and in community settings. And Miami was able to get space for the office in 2005 and 2006. So that's where we're located now.
And so was this something that you initiated, or was it a mutual? Did Talawanda come to you or come to Miami and say, we see some areas where there could be some partnering to help Talawanda school kids? How did that work?
There was what I would call sort of a confluence of goodwill that happened around 2000. Some people made it into leadership positions that were friendly across both institutions, and they started talking. I wasn't a part of the early conversations, but a team of representatives from both entities, Talawanda and Miami, began meeting in 2000 to talk about what they could do together to create a partnership, one that would enhance the educational experiences for students in both settings. That's one of our main objectives, is to work together to create educational experiences for students in both settings that are excellent.
So with this partnership, it's not Miami University saying we're going to bring this to you. In other words, Talawanda kids can benefit, but also Miami students benefit. So
right.
How do the Miami students benefit from some of the things that they might be doing with this partnership?
Miami students get a chance to work on educational questions they have and work on educational skills they like to develop by working with students in Talawanda and teachers in Talawanda. So one of the objectives of a school-university partnership like ours and like many across the country is to create a setting or set of settings in which students of education can have excellent laboratory-like experiences. And that's one of the things that we've tried to create in Talawanda, and we've had some success in that, creating supervision models and open settings for our students, Miami students, to have excellent early field experiences, and through the Office of Community Engagement and Service, to get students who are just interested in community service out into the schools to tutor students mainly in mathematics and English.
So is the Partnership Office like a broker, so to speak, where you're kind of brokering and forging these relationships from all these different entities on Miami's campus, and how that can all be kind of blended together? Is that a fair assessment? Or
it's a fair word to use. It's a word I use a lot. You've heard me use it before. Sometimes broker doesn't come across all that well because you think of brokering stocks or money, and I don't have a lot of that. You know that.
Yeah.
So, but brokering relationships, getting people together. I talk often about how in a partnership you're able to do things that you might not normally be able to do alone. So if you have an educational setting like a local public school that would like to enhance its offerings and grow itself into a great democratic entity, like a great public school, one thing that you would do is you would take advantage of resources at hand like a public university. And likewise, vice versa.
And serving the mission of Miami University. Which
right,
is
a great university
service.
has excellent public schools that feed it, that work with it, that help it complete its public mission. So everything that we do, we talk about the events and activities, the projects being simultaneously renewing. So we don't talk just about the status quo. all the time that we're doing mutually beneficial activities, we're trying to renew ourselves at the same time and enhancing the work that we're doing, growing it, making it better. So anything that we do together, we ask the question, is it simultaneously renewing? Are we improving both institutions and the people working together at hand at the same time? If the answer is no to that, then we stop working on that project. If it's yes, then we put everything we can behind it.
Now, I know sometimes, I think with the word partnership office, people may think that that's kind of just education, or it's from the educational realm, but any students and projects, these can be from all different disciplines, right? I mean, all different aspects of university life and learning experiences, right? It's not just, yes, it's not students going in and like student teaching, it
includes that. So from student teaching, a Miami student might be involved in student teaching, which I would consider the long-term practicum for professional development and teaching. That's a very important commitment for a school district to make to a university and vice versa. But we have students who are doing early field experiences in teacher education. We have students who are volunteering just to serve in the public schools as tutors. We have students from all across the university engaging in other types of educational experiences in the schools. And the partnership office is charged not only to work with students across both institutions in the schools, but also in the wider community. So for instance, Miami students are involved in partnerships throughout the community with local entities that we consider partners.
That are beyond Talawanda
exactly.
schools. So let's back up a little bit in terms of it started with this Talawanda-Miami task force, or I'm not sure if that's the word that's being used now.
It's a Talawanda-Miami committee.
It's much broader than just Miami and Talawanda, as far as from the partnership office's mission is concerned. So
yes,
maybe talk a little bit about the broader mission of the partnership office.
Right. I would say to people when they ask me, what does a partnership office do? I'd say we focus on school-university partnerships and building, cultivating partnerships with public entities, social entities, health entities in the community. Some of them are educational in nature. Some of them are focused more on social services, some on health services. And we're also interested in educational issues and development issues in the region. So not only the local community wider than Talawanda-Miami, which would include the city of Oxford and the surrounding townships that constitute the Talawanda community, but also the region, Southwest Ohio, which if we had a lot of time, I'd tell you some projects that we're working on in the wider region.
And Miami has regional campuses, Hamilton and Middletown, so it makes sense that the partnership office would necessarily just be Talawanda-Miami partnership. It would be,
yes,
it would be more extensive.
And we have a strong relationship with the regional campuses who have their own agenda and identity with local school districts and public entities in their own locales. So we're constantly working with the regional campuses too to broker new relationships with them and new possibilities and projects. So there's a lot of overlap, and I would say positive sort of energy developing out of people working together across multiple contexts for multiple purposes. It's not just one thing. So for instance, we have projects in the community that we support that have to do with, for instance, the development of an excellent food network. You know, food in Oxford and the surrounding communities can be very, very difficult to secure, especially during the summer when students who are on free and reduced lunch are home for lunch and dinner all day. And
meaning students who normally get support from
free and reduced lunch program.
Now they're
federally.
In the summer and they may not be, they aren't getting that support.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the Community Services Coalition, which is made up of the 4 service clubs in Oxford, the Masons, the Lions, Rotary, and Kiwanis, work together with our office and entities across the community to create food drives that will help with the dearth of food in the community in the summer months. So that's one example of a project or a topic that we're working on. That's a partnership project across multiple entities. Every August we have a back-to-school celebration for students who are on the free and reduced lunch list who have a hard time affording school supplies and backpacks to return to school. And we work closely with the United Way, the Oxford Church of God, and the Talawanda District to create a back-to-school celebration. So all the students who are in that category are able to afford the school supplies they need and backpacks, which is really important to kids.
At times Miami students or athletic teams are are
Very
involved,
often.
right? So
Yes.
so that's that Miami students, Talawanda students getting that connection. And
Well,
I know in future shows we're going to have various guests who are going to be talking about specific projects, but
Right. When you get
give an
into this-
example of an educational project where you may have Miami faculty and students involved, and maybe Talawanda kids come here, or
Right.
vice versa.
There are a number of them, but one that I think is illustrative is the math partnership we have with Talawanda. The Muppet Math is a Miami University partnership.
Muppet Math.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about
play on-
it's a partnership in mathematics education.
Okay.
And the grant from the state of Ohio is funding professional development and also student learning across the K-12 spectrum in several local school districts, including Talawanda, in math education. And the real key is that the money is funding the development of teachers in the math curriculum that they're teaching in the schools. And we have students from Talawanda benefiting, we have Miami University students benefiting, and we have teachers in the district benefiting. And this goes
So
back...
Miami math faculty